Don't worry, we'll cut it out later, guys.
I'm not doing the editing. Who's doing the edit? Yeah, doing the edit. No more cutting. You guys do it. Who's doing the edit? You can say whatever you want, Steve.
Go say it's seaflow.
A whole half hour about it. Yeah.
Cut it.
Every 10 minutes.
Happy Eclipse Day. All right, ready? All right, let's go.
Hey, what's up, guys? What's up?
What's up? Welcome back.
Welcome back, man.
back.
Episode 31 of the 5-Star Podcast, where we talk about all things Toronto real estate. It's been a while.
Yeah, it feels like a bit of a break that we had. It's been a little
Everyone's
bit
busy, right?
It's been
Everyone's busy.
Spring market came early.
We do an intro?
That was the intro.
That was the intro.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so why don't we just go around and give the names?
So it's Woodrow.
Richard.
Kenny.
Steve.
Rod.
And Winston.
That was
here.
awkward.
After every name, we're supposed to say
Can I raise my hand and can I
Potato.
speak?
You know, what we're going to talk about today is,
Eclipse.
well, there's pre-construction. There's a pre-construction topic that we're going to talk about.
All right, just talk about it.
All right, let's get it out of the way. Let's get it out of the way. Let's talk about it.
Steve would like to talk about
Steve, bring
the
it away. Bring
eclipse.
it away.
No,
Bring it.
that's happy
Total
post
eclipse
Eclipse.
of my
That was
heart.
amazing. It was
And speaking about current affairs, we passed the TV earlier and we saw that Bank of Canada is keeping the rates at
5% today.
Yeah, today's of a hold.
No cuts.
As expected, though.
That was expected.
Okay, so cut in June then.
Cut in June. Cut in
Probably.
June.
Yeah, that's the anticipation. It makes sense why. Because if they
Yeah.
did cut it, the rates are going to go or the real estate
Inflation.
market's going to go on fire.
Oh, on fire.
Fire. It's already busy.
It's already
Like,
brewing.
it's nice actually. Right now, honestly, like you guys we're finding like a balanced market right now,
It is.
and it's actually the best temperature in the market that we can feel. People can move, people can buy. You know, there's still some bid
There's
wars
some
here and
breathing
there.
room.
I feel like it's a
But it's
calm
still-
before the
it's easy to
storm
transition.
because when they do
I don't
decrease
like
it,
living
it's
in the
gonna-
storm, though.
It's going
Everyone's
to be a
going to
big
jump in
war.
at the same time.
Or we want to talk about why people aren't buying, pre-construction properties today. Why do you think there's so much inventory right now?
So whenever I see these new projects come up, prices seem to be higher than what people are willing to pay. The resale market's softened, right? So definitely, I think
What are you seeing right
there's
now?
a gap. Depending on the area, you're looking at maybe like $200, maybe $250 a square foot in
Okay.
terms of difference.
So you're talking about like what resale is versus what they're selling
yeah,
for?
the pricing. Yeah,
$200 isn't too bad.
it
I
isn't.
find.
But for a lot of buyers now, they're like, I can buy something right now that's cheaper. That's very similar in
But
size.
that's
Similar
always been the
finish.
case, though. Like, pre-con has always had a premium over resale. Like, how's that different?
But it's interesting because like I think Kenny was talking about this previously, or just before we start recording here, is that what did you say exactly with the pricing? The pricing was the same as normal.
Well, I'm just saying the spread. Like, you're saying the difference between resale and pre-construction. There was always a premium. It's same case now.
It hasn't changed.
It hasn't changed.
It really depends on how big the spread is, right?
Has the spread got bigger? I don't know.
No, but what's interesting is that Kenny was looking up the stats too, right? What was the stats?
Yeah, so 2023, we actually had a huge drop of sales. So from 2022, there was 22,000 new condo sales or new home sales. And then 2023, it dropped 41% to 12,000.
massive.
12,000. That's a huge, and that's the
That's
lowest it's
huge.
been in 15 years.
Wow. That's huge.
But I think what's happening right now is with price, based on Wynn's point, is that people aren't seeing the value because they think the price is too high, right? I think there's a little bit of a sticker shock though, for real. Like I really do, because if you're looking at $1,300 a square foot for a project and you're looking at a one bedroom and den for like 600 square foot or so, you're looking at a price tag of like $800,000-$900,000, right? For a one bedroom and den.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is that like, is the market going to get to that point where is it going to actually sell at $800,000-$900,000, like $1,000 for one bedroom and den, right? Come, 4 years from now.
So it's kind of a squeeze, I find, because the developers are forced to increase prices, maintain margins for their, stakeholders. And if they don't get that point,
they're not going to cover the development charges either from the city. So they're getting tagged from every corner to perform. If they price it too low, they're obviously going to sell out. But for one thing, are they going to finish the project? Or are they going to go to development?
It's also important to note that prices of condos, 20 to 30% of that are due to government taxes and development fees. So they've gone up over the years.
Their expenses for the building process, like getting permits and all that,
Development
that's
charges
taking
have gone
longer.
up, yeah.
The DC charges, so development charges actually increase without anyone knowing. That gets passed on to the buyer. So everything, all these costs gets passed on to the buyer because government wants a bigger piece.
Well, speaking of DC charges, hang on. Let's just go back to the DC charges because with the interview that we did with Aaron with Marlin Springs,
Yep.
she had mentioned that the DC charges are nowhere close to what we pay.
It
We
is.
pay
That's
a
true.
small fraction of
So
the
each
actual
unit
development
now,
charges.
each severance right now is over $100,000. We only pay, that's capped.
Right, at
like
$15,000,
$10,000,
$16,000, whatever it is. But they're paying $80,000 to $100,000 depending
That's
on the
sticker
actual
price
unit.
from the government. They're like, every piece. So let's say you have a piece of land now and you want to cut it in half. You got to pay $100K per piece, or for the new piece.
What about condo prices? Do we see them going down? Is there going to be a pre-construction crash?
I don't see a pre-construction crash. I just feel like there's going to be no lower developments. Like developments would slow down.
It's going to come down to legislation, I think.
Yeah. What I'm thinking with condo prices, it might not go up as fast as we would want it to go up. Right. So like a 1-bedroom and den that's generally priced around, let's say 630 right now, like 600, even let's say downtown, like 700 or so. I don't see it going up like much.
Thing is, do you even actually want it to go up? Like, do you even think
as
it's
an owner,
reasonable?
of course you want it to go up.
Right, but do you think it's going to be like reasonable at some point to have like a 1-bedroom be $1 million? Like, is that even reasonable?
Well,
Like
it's
in
gonna-
a marketplace.
No, it's definitely reasonable. You're
Like it's
basing
infathomable today,
No, but
but like
you're basing
eventually you will.
you're basing your comment today, right? But if you look at other cities that are maybe 20 years ahead, they're all at $1 million, above $1 million.
Yeah.
And there's just like business as usual because money's flowing in, and they're just appreciating incrementally.
Yeah.
But they're just ahead of us in terms of the valuation. And also the population, probably tenfold. So
Affordability is getting harder and harder. So, I just don't think that the rate of increase is going to be as quick as it was the last 10 years, right? That's
I think,
my
I mean, in general, everything's going to be gradually
will be going
growing.
higher.
Like, it's going to go up, but it's not going to go up astronomically.
the way
like,
that
fast
it
as
has been.
Yeah.
Like,
So like, because we're going to settle around, like the interest rate's going to be around 4 to 5%, right? That's where we're going to settle at.
That's
So-
sustainable.
Right. So if that's the case, then, we're going to see maybe like 3-4%, 5% growth in our property values per year.
I think demographics is a good point. We have to realize that pre-construction buyers, 80 to 90% of them are investors. With the current resale situation, high interest rates, these investors have to ensure that they're not over leveraged. If 80 or 90 to 90% of these buyers are investors, that's a huge group that is reluctant to invest into pre-con right now. So right away, you have large amount of units that are going to be available.
I think there's no like right now, the market is kind of in a little bit of a lull where there is no hype for investors to kind of get into the market. Like, oh, I got to put my money in, or else I'm going to miss out. There is no more fear of missing out.
Yeah. I think that's
Right.
what the thinking has changed a little bit, is because back in like 2017 or 2016, we started to see the market like really catch fire.
Yeah.
And people were buying pre-construction with the idea that,
It's free
missing
money.
out.
It was free
They're
money
gonna miss
almost
out.
at that
They're going to
point.
miss out on
Yeah.
like buying real estate, or they can't afford real estate in the future.
Yeah.
So a lot of people have flooded the market. But right now it's like there's so much inventory that people don't have that fear of missing out anymore.
Mhm.
They're like, oh, I can wait. I can shop around. I think it comes down to demand, right? Like the perception again. There's no more fear of missing out because at this point, there's I can like as a buyer, they can buy pre-construction, they can buy assignments, they can buy resale. Whereas before, there were no assignments. There were very little because everyone was making like money hand over fist. So why would they assign it, right? Take all the profits, sell it when they close.
I guess one of the reasons that I see there's a flood of assignments, and these are where buyers cannot move forward on their purchase. They have to sell either at cost or a minimal profit, or maybe sometimes at a loss.
Okay, but why do you think there's so many assignments on the market right now?
Right. So yeah, I'm getting on to that because they cannot close, or more importantly,
They can't get the mortgage. They can't. They're
It's a high interest rate, right?
leveraged.
it's because the banks, they do an appraisal and then they value that pre-construction project at a lower below market. So if the purchase was 800,000 from the developer, they come in and say, oh no, it's around 650 only. Then
Because the market softened.
so you cannot close on that property based on this mortgage.
Actually, we're still seeing closings happening. I mean, there's projects downtown right now that are closing. Their market value, the contract value is still higher than what the resale value is right now downtown, right? So I think what's happening is because if based on the points here is that with Woody, he had mentioned that investors are the main people that are buying pre-construction, and your point is that they can't close, right? But the things that they are closing, but the things that they're closing above market value, right? Today with the assignment market, I've talked to a lot of the agents that work specifically with assignments. And their inventory that they carry has doubled. So what they normally carry is maybe like 50 assignment units at a time. Now they're at 100 plus.
Yeah, but what are they saying? Why they can't?
Because
close on
people, so what I'm hearing is that one, people are not able to afford it anymore because interest rates, their own cost of living has gone up significantly. Their cost of their own home has gone up like significantly.
Layoffs maybe.
Well, economy, unemployment rate has actually changed a lot. So like a lot of these different variable factors have affected, the assignment market. And I think there's still a lot of cash around in the market. It's just that people don't see the value of buying these properties.
So at that point, right?
Speaking of assignments that go back into the pool,
Yeah.
what happens to the original buyer and their deposits?
Good luck. I mean, they lose their deposit or they might get sued for the difference.
No one can really touch it because that money is sitting with the trust account with the builder's lawyer. They would have to wait for a court order. So they would both go to court. Like the builder will litigate as to who this deposit belongs to, how much they claim.
Chances are they're going to lose it though.
They're going to lose it.
Fair enough, but the process is court order. You have to wait to go to court.
Yeah, the technical process.
The builder's going to take you to court.
They're going to lose the money
And get sued.
Yeah. So the end result is you're going to lose your deposit. If the builder sells it for less than what you purchased for, you might get sued for the difference. Again, they have all the money in the world to play this game.
So what if they sold it at the price you purchased it for, or even more? What
You're still going to
happens?
lose your deposit.
So
you
unlike resale, what you're saying is where if the original seller sells at market or higher, then you're fine. You get your money back because it's too complicated to leave the property off market. What you're saying with pre-con, if you fail to pay your deposits, you lose it regardless of what the builder sells it for. The builder could double dip.
They'll take you to town.
In a nutshell. But with resale, it actually happens similar to pre-construction. It's just the most sellers is not recommended to take you to court.
Well, they don't have the
because
time or the money to deal with this.
even if they do, for example, if they go to court, at the end of the day, the lawyers are going to win because it's debatable.
So in resale, they can, but they practically
Most
they
people
choose
they
not
don't.
to.
Do you think the builder can force you to close on the pre-con?
If you have no money.
Well, the bank
if you can't afford it.
Yeah, if the bank's not giving you the money, then where's the money coming from?
Yeah, if you have no money, close me, baby. Come on, give it to me.
Oh, remember what in the last one, Kathy was saying?
What do you mean force? I don't understand.
Here's my baby.
I need an example.
Some blood.
So there's more.
You want a
there's more
kidney?
where that
I
came
got
from.
two.
You want to take on another job at night? Go right ahead. Earn some money. But yeah, remember what Kathy was saying? She's like, if you're bankrupt, you can sue for whatever amount,
You can't
but there's
squeeze
no
blood
money.
out of the stone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and back to what Richard was saying. So I know of one investor, they bought when interest rates were low and prices were very attractive. They bought 3 units in the span of 6 months. They're assigning them right now because obviously with the higher interest rates, I mean, if you were buying way back when rates were like 3 point something and now you're looking at 6 point something, 7 point something, you can't close on all of them. You're going to have to sell some of these assignments.
Because the payments, mortgage rates, they might have tripled, double or tripled.
Yeah, double or tripled. And like you said, if you can't afford your current home, how are you going to take on extra units?
Well, the bank's not going to allow you.
Exactly.
Right? That's it.
And that actually they start feeling it right away when they enter into occupancy. So the occupancy fee actually double or triple.
Mm-hmm.
And that's even before getting a mortgage.
So another factor, I'd like to just switch gears for a moment, market sentiment. Look at all the builders that have failed to deliver on projects, not just Canada, but internationally. So I think the market sentiment is currently poor in terms of pre-con. People are concerned about a number of things. Builders actually bringing a building to completion, being able to qualify for it, and what happens when you lock your money in there for 4 or 5 years
And they
it
don't
doesn't
build. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's a lot of fear for sure.
Yeah.
In the market. Because we are hearing a lot of cancellations in the market. For
I'm hearing
projects.
a lot of bankruptcies too from builders.
Even
man.
from like reputable, like some
from
reputable names.
builders. I just heard of one yesterday. I won't
You
say
can't
it on
name.
there. Rod won't let me to name it.
You
So
can-
Wait,
Feel free
no,
to
we
say
can, we
whatever
can,
you
we
want.
can. Is it in an article?
no.
Oh,
It's like Voldemort.
No,
You
but
cannot
there's so many
state his
projects
name.
that were really hyped up for a few years ago, and now they're canceling.
Yeah.
Right. There's several. I mean, so many that we hear. Right. So I guess the fear of buying these pre-construction and then canceling. Do you remember the first one that we heard that got canceled, or way back, like about 5 years ago?
They can't sue us if they're bankrupt, right?
no, you know what? Like, I mean, it's not.
Rod is sweating right now. He's like,
Say
Hey,
whatever
you
you
know
want, guys. I don't care.
Yo, I
which
don't,
one?
I
Wait,
don't
which
think
one?
it's
Say what
like
you
we can
This
say
is-
we can
this
say
is
the
fine.
project.
This
even,
was
because
this was
it's
all
fact.
over the news. This was all
It's
over
fact.
the news.
Why are you looking at me? Say
It's
it.
all good, man.
Which one? Which one? Which one?
Yeah, young and
No, the first one that I remember.
Icona?
No, before
Oh,
that.
no, that was
Before
Liberty.
Icona?
Liberty.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Yeah.
Was it in what, Vaughn or what?
Vaughn, yeah. Because they canceled, and then Icona canceled almost right after that. These are
builder.
both in the news.
So you think people are just scared that builders are going to cancel the project, so they're going to stay away from pre-con?
That's a factor.
But no,
Yeah.
but there's so many. Yeah, the fear of it canceling and not completing.
I think there's definitely been a lot more the past couple years, these cancellations and bankruptcies even, right?
And especially when you see one builder canceling a project only to sell it to another builder who relists it at current
So
market,
they flip the project to someone else.
you know, it puts a bad taste in your mouth.
Okay. So basically, one first point that we made about why there's so much inventory is price, right? Value, right? Fear of missing out is no longer the
Fear of
case.
locking up your money
Hype,
for a couple of
fear
years.
cancellation.
Mortgage
Yeah.
qualifications.
And resale,
Mortgage,
right? Resale
yeah.
might be a better option because they can get in the market now. Start building equity right away versus waiting 7 years for a project.
I okay, this is I wonder if it's because of the COVID delay had anything to do with it. Because back then, before COVID, condos used to finish in what, 4 years?
It was
That
like a
the norm?
machine. Yeah.
But now I've seen some condos being finished in 7, 8 years because of COVID.
Conspiracy.
So I wonder if people are like, oh man, it takes that long to close now?
Is that a
Maybe.
bad thing?
Maybe.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, in certain
well, your
cases,
money's not really doing much if it's sitting there.
Or
and
seven.
I think it would.
Yeah,
I would
well-
change the buyer demographic for sure.
it would eliminate more.
It'll be more
First time, like,
investors.
end users, you
users,
can't.
right?
Yeah.
You can't.
You can't time 7 years down the road. I
Yeah.
wouldn't buy in 7 years.
You're like a first-time home buyer. By the time you get it, you're married with like 3 kids.
yeah. So maybe less end users are buying. I don't know because of that. I'm just thinking.
Yeah, what are you gonna do with a 1-bedroom?
Or
Right.
more end users. Because wouldn't an investor want the ROI, get the rent in ASAP? So wouldn't an investor want it to build faster? And as a new buyer, let's say I'm a student and I know that condo's building for 7 years. That means I can pay a little bit,
But where do you live?
but you won't have
from
income.
year 1 to 6.
Mom and dad.
Not
Mom and
everyone.
Dad.
Some people
but
have to rent.
But don't
right?
you think it's
They
actually a
continue
good
to
thing
rent,
for
too.
investors to say, okay, 7 years down the road, that's great because that's 7 years of equity I'll be getting, right? So that's an attraction, in my opinion, right? Sometimes.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. It may not be a bad thing for end users.
Yeah, they
Well,
want the longer
there's different
close.
pros.
But if you, unless you have bank of mom and dad, there's no way. Like think back 7-8 years ago, like today, where were you at? Like, do you have that?
Okay.
You know, $150,000 to purchase something.
Look at it this way: at $800,000 condo, you have to put 20% down. If they build in 4 years, that's 160 grand. Split over 4 payments, that's 40 grand.
There's no student that can do that.
Okay, exactly. Spread that across 7-8 years. Isn't that lesser payments?
No, that's what they're doing now with the payment structure. Before it was only like 30, 90 days.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, it was
not
very
120
close.
days.
Very,
it was all
very
really
close.
tight.
Some of them are 15% too, right? Not full 20. Some of them are 15%.
Exactly. So
Deposit.
as an end user, is longer closing, isn't that possibly better?
So wait, let me ask you this, guys. As an investor, right? When you ask about like why is there so many inventory, I thought of another reason. If you were an investor, I mean, when you look at pre-construction, what are you trying to achieve? Like if you're
Okay,
you're
so
an
the
investor,
investors, there's two types of investors. Ones that are trying to buy and hold and sell before they actually close and take the equity out.
flip.
Right, that's a flip. Right. Second is buy, rent, hold long term for whatever purpose. Right, maybe buy for their kids 5 years from now. Their kids are, in school right now, but they're holding it, and then once their kid comes out of school, they can close and move into their own unit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
There's some of those.
Or primarily most people are buying it to rent out. And I think to your point, what you're trying to get to is that the cash flowing difference right now is massive. Maybe like 3-4 years ago, we're looking at a differentiation of -$300, -$400. Right? Now we're looking at $800, $900 of a difference.
I mean, the interest rates didn't help either, right?
but that's why.
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
That's
Really, because
Like-
of the interest rates.
I wanted to say like because if you look at like from an investor standpoint, they only look at it's because it's not emotional at all.
It's math.
It's math. It's the cap rate. How much can they get? If they get a negative cap rate, then
Can
they're shelling out money every
Yeah,
month.
can you explain cap rate? Because I'm not sure listeners may understand.
So
what cap rate
capitalization rate is really just a return on their investment, right? And usually in the form of a percentage. So typically, investors that I deal with, they ask for a range between it could be 3-4, which is conservative, where it goes to 6 or 7.
Return per year.
So you guys,
Anyway,
yeah,
just
if
per
you guys
year.
don't know it, look it up. Cap rate.
Yeah. So so that's the terms that they deal with. And if they don't meet that cap rate, obviously they're going to have to look at alternatives, maybe other regions, like not Toronto, because comparing Toronto to another city, there may be a difference in terms of the cap rate, right? So they're able to shop around. Another thing would be rent rates. So does the rent rate actually meet all the expenses? Does it cover all your bases, or are you having negative cash flow? So sometimes it doesn't. So depending on the building, depending on the location, it doesn't command that rent rate. So they may also have second thoughts, like when will the rent meet their
likely
coverage,
won't.
right?
It likely won't unless they're paying down their.
But I think there's another reason why people right now are being a little bit reluctant to buy the existing inventory is because there's actually been, due to the internet, there has been a lot more options outside of the GTA. I find like people are investing in like Calgary, Edmonton,
That's
or
interesting.
whatever it
Actually,
is.
that's a good point.
Well,
I never
Um,
thought about that one.
Montreal as well.
Because think about it,
Because they
like
see more value elsewhere.
Yeah.
like I have
Yeah.
this money. Instead of buying one unit in Toronto where I'm barely making rent, why not I buy 2 units? And if that seems to be the hype, again, the FOMO, I'm gonna put my $500K and buy 2 units out in Calgary.
For sure.
And then if it goes up, you can make a lot more money than in Toronto.
It even spills over to the US. People are exploring
yeah.
all their options. If they're
Because I have people that are like, do I want to invest in Toronto anymore? Because what's my return? It's not very high anymore.
So like, okay, so now that we've kind of laid out sort of that groundwork of why, what's going to happen in the future.
Let's look at assignments. There's a lot of assignments. Assignment prices have come down. Doesn't look like it's really affecting resale, right?
Not really.
Yeah.
No.
Because I think the like assignment sales aspect, there's a lot out there, but there's not a lot of people buying them because, again, the new buyer also has to qualify for that original price. And if the original buyer couldn't do it, what's the new buyer going to do? Same thing. They can't close.
So say for example, if that assignment doesn't get purchased, original buyer goes on default, goes back into the pool.
builder. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have more inventory.
That's inventory.
Like talking
So
about
if there's a
repercussions aside.
shortage of inventory right now in our marketplace, and there's all this assignment sales that are available, right? Why are we still having a shortage of inventory?
There's clearly a disconnect because on the one side there is a lot of pre-construction inventory, but at the same time there's
assignment inventory that's closing in the next like 6 months or so.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, but a lot of people won't buy off plan, right? They need to feel it,
They
touch
need
it,
to
see it.
feel.
Yeah.
Right? There's still a shortage
because
of
there's the like
traditional homes.
I think the assignment is not meant to be targeted towards investors. It's meant to be targeted towards end users. And if end users can pick between something that's coming up in 6 months or something that I can see and feel right now, they'd rather see something that they can 100% get a mortgage for. Right? So if they were like, oh, I can buy a building next door to this new one and I know I can get a mortgage, they might go for that one at a lower price.
Mhm.
And then when that assignment comes back, let's say it doesn't close, it comes back into the pool, that becomes more, I guess, quote unquote, resale.
Okay, so what do you think of the effect of going forward then with the condo market sales, knowing that there's so much inventory that's coming up and there's still more inventory being developed?
it comes down to buyer confidence. When the rates return back to normal or lower than what it is today, like with the Bank of Canada, there's going to be more speculation. The investors will come back and revisit if the numbers work out. End users, if they are right sizing, they're coming back to the market to prioritize closer to work.
Yeah, but in terms of this year, like what about development? Do you see more developments happening right now? Or
I see
just
less.
people the builders holding back.
I see less.
Like they're not launching this year. I think they're gonna wait and see. Maybe in the June when they cut rates, maybe they'll all jump in together.
Because I think
in the
as soon
fall.
as the inventory starts dwindling down, like, I mean, the inventory that's sitting right now, it will get soaked up slowly. And once the inventory kind of comes down and they see demand increase with the interest rates, whatnot, then they're going to launch. I feel like there might be a few launches coming up in the fall.
Mhm. It's such a contrast from like fall.
Yeah, but the hot projects will still sell. They will, because real estate is so cyclical.
It's
An
how they
investor will
market it
see
to us,
If
though,
it's the
right?
right
Timing.
area,
Yeah, for sure. It's about timing. But I mean, there's a lot of developers that are land banking, right? Because they just don't see value in trying to develop.
Yeah,
The
there's
land
always,
right now.
there's always.
yeah, they might hold off, but a good area is a good area, right?
But to your point, cyclical, like what would you say like a hot project would be?
Lots of them. Why don't you tell me, Richard? It's like he's trying to set something up here. Yeah, he's like, take it. Hey, here it is.
Okay, by the way,
Yeah.
Rod is our compliance
Oh,
officer.
stop.
What factors would cause the pre-construction inventory to decrease and pre-construction sales to skyrocket? Interest rates?
Yeah, if the rates, if people sense that the rates are going to be coming down, then the math again is going to be, oh, okay, my rental rate should technically go up and my cost should be coming down.
Yeah.
So that's what's going to encourage buyers to reinvest in the pre-construction.
There's a convergence, kind of like lowering of rates, increasing of rent over time. 'Cause
Yeah.
rent rates typically go
Rent's
up.
going to have to, it's going to keep going up because we all know there's a lack of, like, we're in an overpopulation situation. In
Mhm.
Like what's
the
a
GTA
one
right now.
bedroom, 2 bedroom these days, 1+ den?
Mhm.
Like in the GTA, can anyone want to?
Well, we know like 5 years,
What?
5 years
Like a
from now, right?
1 bedroom rental, or a 1+ den. What's it going for now?
Where?
Average in the city, in Toronto.
Even in
Let's say
Mississauga, it's like
downtown and
2,500
midtown,
2,500
between the
bucks.
two.
I've got one on Queen Street East, just east of DVP. It's going for 2,600.
So that's
for-
downtown.
for 1+ den.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I have-
2750 for one
But you
with
know
parking.
what? I have one that right now, right at Yonge and Bloor. It's not moving.
What's listed at?
right now it's $2,450. We're thinking of lowering it down to probably like $2,300.
This is a
parking?
1 bedroom and den?
One.
One bedroom.
With parking or no?
One
With
bedroom.
parking
No
or no?
parking, no locker. So prices
How
are
big
lower
is the
because
space?
400 something square feet.
I just
I think
did
that's
I
But
did
it's,
a,
again,
so-
it's Young and Bloor, right?
Yeah.
It's
I did,
8 Cumberland.
I did one Midtown. It was a 1 bedroom, no parking, 2,200.
Yeah, prices have come down a little bit in terms of rental.
Yeah, no parking.
In the future, I guess it's going to go higher.
So that would show value to purchase pre-construction condos again, because investors can get better ROI on
Yeah,
their
you
purchases.
show any investor clients like 5-10 year trend. The rate has gone up.
Yeah, like 5 years ago, rent from today, it's already a big difference. There's a spread.
Do you think the rent is going to continuously go up?
With the amount of people that needs a roof over their head, I think so.
I think organically it has to go up because you're talking about, first of all, inflation, maintenance costs, mortgage costs, everything is going up, and the cost of construction, like building.
So we've got immigration and we've got locals that can't afford to buy. So they've got to rent.
Okay, cool, man. Great topic, guys. We're coming up on time. So, any final words?
Yeah, always the final word is to like, subscribe, and share. Always. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
All right, bye.
Nice.
Thank you.